But I want to say not only good afternoon, but depending on where you are, all of our international reps and people from within the company that are in other places other than Winona are joining us today, we hope. And some will not be able to join us today, but will be able to tune into it at another time. So it may be good afternoon, it may be good evening, it may be good morning, it may be, I don't know if Glenn Bell is on this afternoon from Australia, it may be 2 days from now. Australia is about 36 hours, I think, ahead of us. So depending on where they are, it may not be good afternoon. I want to recognize all of our friends and family from all over the world that will either be here this afternoon in this meeting or will join us at a later time in the United States, in Canada, Brazil, Argentina, India, Chile, China, South Africa, Poland, Turkey, Indonesia, Australia, Mexico, and Peru. Sergio, I heard you guys were going to be out there today. Hello to you if you are. So isn't that a pretty exciting list of organizations and countries that are represented and are part of the Miller Felpax family? Isn't that pretty terrific? That's like a dozen or so countries in a small little company. Let's give everybody in the Miller Felpax team all over the world a great big round of applause. Well, there's a lot of exciting things going on this year in the company. As you know, this is not a mud pit out here completely. It's the building addition is probably, I don't know, half done, Jesse? Footers are down finally, the walls are up, the ceiling's up, the electricity that had to be added to it have been exposed, and it's coming along just fine. Anybody that can have access to our website, which includes our international reps, you can get on there even today and see pretty much up to date what's going on. So that's pretty exciting stuff, and we've been doing a lot of work lately on our marketing positioning, and which led us to today's event. And before I get started, I want to recognize Eric and Christy and the entire sales and marketing team for bringing us to where we are today, and all the good work that you're going to learn about today, and all the good work that's really going to position this company for the next 10 years. They've done just a fabulous job. Give them a round of applause. You know, Miller Felpax is a well-kept secret. And that's not necessarily a good thing, to be a well-kept secret. I'll talk about that in a little bit. The reason I say we're a well-kept secret is there's so much that our company is capable of doing, and there's so much that our company does do every single day that nobody really knows about except for a few select customers. We touch 4 or 5 or 6 customers maybe in a month with creative and innovative solutions, but it's kind of a secret to other people who don't get exposed to it. And we're such a creative company. We do so many creative things, and we're like Johnny on the spot. Anytime anybody needs something done, any solutions done, we're able to do it, aren't we? Aren't we? Yes. Most of you, if not all of you, have been involved in some of those creative and innovative solutions, haven't you? Name one. This isn't a Mensa test. Name one. Something innovative and creative that's been done here by anybody. Don't be modest. It's okay. Can you say that a little louder? I don't think he can hear us. Yeah. I think it was Burlington Northern, was it? Yes. Using RTV, helping Burlington Northern solve a gear case leakage problem that they had just by using ingenuity. Things we already know about. If you hear me chewing, by the way, out there, guy, in the microphone, can you hear it? Just a minute. Here's another well-kept secret. All of you. I have a secret weapon in this company. They're called the employees. You guys are all a pretty spectacular team, aren't you? Yeah. Not supposed to. Attaboy, Paul. Don't make me bring you out in front of this whole crowd. You're all a pretty spectacular team, aren't you? Yes. You are. You're dedicated, you're interested, you're engaged. You don't check your mind at the door when you walk into the building. you're really interested in the success of the company, and you really put your heart and your soul and your minds into the business. And that is the secret weapon. That is the reason that we win in the marketplace. And that's the reason why we'll keep on winning in the marketplace, because the only real competitive advantage a company can have, in my view, is its people. Now that may sound like a phrase, that may sound like a trite phrase, and you'll hear a lot of companies say it, but we have a set of values in this company, do we not?
Yes.
Do we not?
Yes.
Anybody recite all of them? Oh, they're going, oh God, don't call on me. Don't call on me to recite the values. The point I'm going to make is I don't think I can even recite all of the values without looking at a list to make sure that I don't miss any. But one thing I do know for sure is we live those values, don't we? So it's not a plaque on the wall, which it is. It's not a plaque in our lobby or in our conference rooms, which they are. It's who we are. Well, we don't want the best kept secret of our employees with all of our values and our company with all of our innovative and creative solutions. We don't want to keep that a secret. Can anybody tell me why we don't want to keep that a secret? Anybody? Take a guess. We want their business. Why else wouldn't we want to keep it a secret? Because if we keep what we are a secret, we don't want to be known as those are the guys that make the lubricators only, do we? How much of, who's worked on lubricators this week? How many hours you put in lubricators? How about last week? How many people worked in lubricators last week? 3 or 4 people. Out of how many people are in this room? 50? My point is, it's great, I'm glad we have lubricators. We're going to have them for a good long time. But if our customers only believe and think that we are only the lubricator guys, they'll never call on us for anything else. And eventually, if not already, lubricator is what's called a commodity. You know what I mean by a commodity? It's something that anybody, in a sense, anybody could make. Okay? Or let me give you a better example. Pedestal liners, a commodity. Anybody can make them. The guy that wins in the pedestal liner ends to be the guy who can either package it all up with other things like we do in the what? Truck kit? Or the guy that's got the cheapest price. And eventually the guy with the cheapest price, you know, you go down, I go down, you go down, I go down. Eventually there's nowhere else to go. And you either go belly up, which is really where it ends up with a commodity, or you just don't, you can't be profitable. And so the reason we don't want to keep this a secret is because we don't want to become a commodity. And it's very, very hard these days. I read a book the other day, and it made a very good point about we're in an age of more and more and more. More consumption and more consumption and more consumption and more consumption. I mean, there's so many choices today. If you want to buy, name it, and you don't know where to buy it, you can Google anything today. You want to buy pedestal liners, you can Google them. You can find them anywhere in the world because there's so many choices. If you end up being a commodity or getting niched in where your customers only think you're good for one thing, eventually you get lost in the noise, and then what happens to you? If we don't get Googled, we're dead. You know, and how do you get Googled? I don't know, you pay a lot of money to get to the top, and as a matter of fact, we rank pretty high on Google, but I wouldn't want to bank on that in the future. So the only competitive advantage we're going to have is to get noticed and tell our story in the marketplace. Instead of letting the marketplace tell our story for us, or instead of letting the marketplace decide what our story is, we have to tell our story into the marketplace. Now, I know many of you are involved with Steve Van Valen. Do you remember him? Steve Van Valen, for our friends outside that weren't involved in this process, Steve Van Valen was the Chief Culture Officer, I think was his title, at QVC, the shopping network. I think we talked about him before. QVC is a huge company, 10, 15 billion. That's billion with a B in front of it. He was their Chief Culture Officer. We brought Steve in to help us become more innovative, because remember, a few meetings back when I talked about we need to be more like Amazon. We need to be more like Apple. If we're going to win in the marketplace and thrive and survive, we have to be more innovative than we are. And I said, I'm not saying we aren't innovative. I'm just saying we have to be more innovative. So we brought Steve in, and Steve helped us understand a lot of things. How many were involved with Steve's sessions? Just about everybody, I think, right? Steve helped us understand a lot of things. One of them was which we really are already innovative, aren't we? What do you think? You think we're innovative?
Yes. Yes.
Anybody think we're not innovative? It's okay if you think we're not innovative, because innovation is almost in the mind. Some people will think they're not innovative when they actually are. One of the things we found out as a team when we all got together and went through what we call the why do we do what we do, how do we do what we do, and what is it that we do? Does anybody remember that? Somebody must, because we did all this work and got all of this feedback. Who was involved in the why, how, and what? Christy, do you know who? Maybe you don't remember it was called that. A bunch of you were involved a while back and kind of driving out the answers to those three questions: the why, the what, and the how. Because many experts will tell you, and one that we're particularly fond of by the name of Simon Sinek, will tell you that you have to start with the why do you do what you do, so you can make an emotional connection with your customer to move away from being a commodity. So some of you, if not most of you, maybe you didn't realize that's what it was called, helped us understand why we do what we do as Miller Felpax. And all of you that are outside of Winona today, I believe you have a handout on this. The rest of you could look up there, if you would, behind you. See, there's the advantages standing in the back, sitting in the back. This is what, if you start at the left, I'm just going to read this for you. If you start at the left, this is what most of you that inputted into this had to say about why we do what we do. We live to take on our customers' toughest challenges and bring them surprising solutions. We're so much more than just Felpax, aren't we? We're so much. Felpax, by the way, if you don't know what that means, you'd be along with most of the planet. Felpax, we think, but we're not sure, means when they used to pack the felt in the old mop lubricators that went on rail cars, that then became the lubricator line for us. We're pretty sure that's what Felpax means, but nobody knows. Our customers don't know. I don't know. They ask me. We just guess. So our premise now is we're so much more than Felpax. And why do we do what we do? Take on our customers' toughest challenges and bring them surprising solutions. Who has been involved in that here? Who's been involved in taking on a customer's toughest challenge and bringing them a surprising solution? Raise your hands. I mean, the BN thing is one. What else? Raise your hands. Who was involved in figuring out how to package the truck kit in that box, where pull it out exactly in the order that they need it in? Yeah. See. Who else has been involved in a customer problem that needed a solution? I bet at least half of you have. And that's what you told us when we asked you, why do we do what we do? You told us to bring surprising solutions to our customers. You're all going to get one of these, in case you forget what I said, which is hard to believe, you know what I mean? Why, what, and how. And everything I say today will be in this brochure. When you leave today, we're going to give you one of these. How do we do what we do? Well, we work as a team from our morning toolbox meetings. Anybody involved in toolbox meetings? Everybody. Well, it's a good thing Randy isn't here. You better raise your hand. Randy's going to look later on. That's it. We do toolbox meetings, and none of us to the person would ship anything out of here that wasn't excellent. Does anybody here, and this you probably better not raise your hand to, is anybody here, would you be willing to ship out junk to the customer? Would anybody do that? I don't believe that you would. I don't believe that you would. And that's part of what we do. It's part of how we do what we do. What do? We invent, design, produce, and deliver exceptional railroad parts. Product development is part of our DNA. But the most important thing is, and I love this quote, because I want to tell you, I was so proud when you all wrote these things. I was so proud to say That's my team. We strive simply and humbly to be everyday heroes to our customers, not for our own sake, but in turn to make our customers heroes every day so they can keep their locomotives and rail cars rolling with the exact parts they require and at a budget-friendly price. Now, if you were going to buy from somebody, would you want to buy from somebody that felt that way about it? Or would you rather buy from anybody? If you could choose to buy from people who were that passionate about what they did and wanted to make you into a hero, would you buy from them or the guy next door? That's the whole point of a brand story. That's the whole point of what we're getting at, because we really are that. We strive to keep our customers happy and to make them into everyday heroes. And that's important for people to understand. That's important for our customers to understand that. So unless we want to be a commodity, we have to have a brand story that reflects kind of who we are and what we are. And we do that. We do that with a lot of pride. And the idea behind the brand story, which we're developing now, which we're in the process of kind of rolling out with everybody here, the idea behind a brand story is once you know what it is you do, once you know what it is how you do it, once you know why you do it, then you need to roll that story out to the customer. We have to move away from being known as the Felpax guys that make lubricators to being the guys who have innovative solutions that help our customers create value. Because otherwise, if we end up staying as a Felpax commodity, you might as well be selling nails. Let me ask you a question. When you go to buy nails, what brand do you buy? Who said it? Cheapest, not cheapest. Tell me a brand you buy. Nails. Bottled water. You walk into Walmart, what buy? Do you go for Evian or do you go for Walmart water? Of course you do. We don't want to be in a position where our customers go, well, we're going to buy these pedestal liners. Where are we going to buy them from? Are we going to buy Miller Felpax pedestal liners? We don't care. We're going to buy pedestal liners. Same thing with nails. And what's the difference between having a good brand story and not having one? Anybody get a can here? No cans. Bottle. Pretend this is a bottle, Mountain Dew. This has got, a half an ounce of sugar, some water, and it's in the bottle. You can make a molding machine, blow molding machine the whole thing isn't worth more than 5 cents. But if you put the name Coca-Cola on it, it's worth $1, isn't it? That's the power of a brand story. The Coca-Cola brand is worth over $67 billion. That's B, a billion with a B, $1 billion just because of the brand. It's nothing more than sugar water. Oh yeah, it's got a claim. They claim a secret recipe, but it's nothing more than sugar water. That's the power behind a brand. And companies that succeed and thrive and survive and prosper in the marketplace are those that have a great, terrific brand story. And this is the most important part, they have to actually be their brand. A lot of companies say, what do we want to be when we grow up? Well, what we want to be is we want to be honest, trustworthy, kind, whatever. And then they throw the plaque on the wall, doesn't mean a darn thing. The advantage that we have when we talk about our brand story is this is who we are. This is why we do what we do. This is how we do what we do. And this is what we do. We already live those values, so it's not something we have to make up. We're going to be talking more about the brand story. I know that you have a schedule here over the next couple of weeks where we'll reveal more to you about what our thinking is and what our branding is and so forth. And the whole process of rolling out this brand story will culminate. It actually won't culminate because there'll be more after that, but it'll peak at the RSI show. Some of you went to that last year or the year before, the Railway Supplier Show. This one's in Atlanta. So we're going to roll that out over the next several weeks to a month or two, and then we're going to peak at that show and sort of do a grand unveiling with all of our customers. Then there will be a lot of other things that Eric and his team will be doing along the way with communications with key customers and email blasts and so forth. But we're going to be rolling that out all over the next several months. So you'll hear more. You'll hear more about it. And So we have the two events that are coming up in the next couple of weeks is what we'll call tapping the power of employees as brand ambassadors. Eric's going to talk about, I think it's Eric, next week I believe it is. Is it next week? He's going to talk about that because you all play a key role. All of you outside of Winona and all of you in Winona play a key role, and he'll talk about this in detail as quote-unquote brand ambassadors, because our customers want to connect emotionally with somebody, believe it or not. They really do. The guy that's turning the wrench out on the railroad wants to have a connection with you, the guy that's bringing his product to him, making his product, packing his product. They want an emotional connection. We want all of you to help us be brand ambassadors and sell our story, if you will. So we're going to talk next week. Eric's going to do that, tell you how you can do that. And then the week after that, we'll have an event called Building on Our Heritage for Employee, Community, and Future Growth. We have a pretty spectacular heritage in the Miller Felpax Corporation of innovation. We have a rich heritage of employee commitment, of products and service to the railway industry. We've outlasted more than half of the companies in what's called the S&P 500. You know what that is? It's a stock market index. Half of the companies that have gone that started in the S&P 50 years ago are gone now. They were big companies, and they're gone now. We've outlasted them, which is no guarantee, by the way, that we will in the future. But we've outlasted all of them, and that's because we have such a rich heritage in the company, and you're all part of that. And we'll be talking about that in a few weeks from now. Now, I'm sure you probably have some questions about what I've said. So, it says here, fire away. Fire away. Don't be shy. You can ask me anything. How about you guys out there in the field? They don't have a way to ask, do they? They're probably all sitting there going, is he done yet? Sergio, you better not be. Roberto, if you're out there, you better not be. Questions about brand story. Questions about what we've talked about so far. The why, the how, and the what. Ron? Usually good for a question. It's all pretty, this is like Greek to all of you, isn't it? Because you're not marketing people. Don't feel bad about that. I mean, if you stuck me in front of the lubricator line to build it, I'd build the worst lubricator you ever saw in your life. I wouldn't have a clue how to do that. I wouldn't have a clue what you're talking about. So don't feel bad that this whole brand story thing is kind of odd and unique to you. To just think about the brands that you do buy. Is there a brand that you buy? I want to go in and I want to find X, Tide. I want to go in and I want to get Dove. Name a brand that you buy. Anything. Pardon me?
Milwaukee Tools.
Milwaukee Tools. Why do you buy Milwaukee Tools? How do you know that? So he buys Milwaukee Tools, and I asked him why. This is for the benefit of the people that aren't here. Why do you buy Milwaukee Tools? And he said, well, because it's like they never break down and it's high quality. I said, well, how do you know it's high quality? They never break down, I suppose, right? You never had any trouble with them. The next guy, what Rockwell, probably has just as high quality. Have you tried Rockwell? Craftsman, well, we know about that. Forget Craftsman. He said, I tried Craftsman. Forget Craftsman. Rockwell's got good tools. You never tried them. Why didn't you? I'm sorry I put you on the spot. He's got it in his head that Milwaukee Tools is the best brand out there. But he doesn't know. I don't know. Anybody that's buying a brand right now probably doesn't know if that really is the best brand. Let's assume you're buying it because it's the best, highest, or whatever. You may know why, but unless you did side-by-side comparisons over time with statistical process control, you don't know. But that's the power of a brand. You walk into a restaurant and you say, I'd like a Coca-Cola, and they say, well, we don't have Coke, we have Pepsi. Will you take Pepsi? Will you drink Pepsi instead? No, some will, some won't. But you ask for Coke first, or you ask for Pepsi first. It doesn't matter. the idea is that's the power of a brand. So what you want is a brand. Milwaukee does not ever want anybody to ever try Rockwell because they may find out the dirty little secret that Milwaukee is not the best. I don't know. Maybe it is. But don't ever let your customers get into a position to try somebody else. So once we ingrain and embed our brand story into all of our customers, we want them to be asking for us all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time, for whatever it is they want. Things that they don't know that we make or not yet, we want them to say, I don't know if those guys make that, but I bet they do. Let's get Miller. That's what the whole idea behind the brand is. Any questions? I shouldn't say any other questions because that would be incorrect, wouldn't it? Any other questions on what all this means? You'll learn more, and I'm sure Eric will do a much better job of explaining things than I will, so when Eric gets up here, I'm sure you'll have some questions for him. Right, Eric? We got a couple of handouts for you. One of them is, this is a pretty cool looking shirt. This is a pretty cool looking shirt. You know, you fit two of me in this, Christy. I don't know if you noticed that or not. I'm more. You leave this meeting today with anything, just like I could fit more than two of me in there. I'm more. I'm more than Felpax. That's what we want you to think about. Not that there's anything wrong with having been Felpax or being Felpax, but we're so much more than Felpax. And the back of this shirt's pretty cool. Really cool. See, you can read it this way, or you can read it upside down. Any way you want. This is our values and our cultural descriptions and some other really cool things that describe, I think, who we are. So there's going to be a test on this tomorrow. When you come into work, I'm going to say, what's in the back of your shirt? I'm just kidding. So Christy has one of these for each of you on your way out. And our brand story, if you will, the why, the what, and the how, is contained in these cards here, and you'll also get one of those. Do they get them as they file out? Any last minute questions from anyone on what we've talked about so far? Okay. Well, thanks a lot for coming. Have a good day.